So you should watch this video if you're not quite sure how a switch works or you think your trouble might be in a switch. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to connect both sides of a breadboard and when you would want to do that. So let's take a look. Okay. So here I have just a really simple setup. I have my wire going from source onto row 16, just so you can see it a little bit easier. Let's make it row 15. So I've got a number there. So I've got source going to row 15. Now this right here is the most basic type of single pole, single throw switch. Single pole, single throw means just if you press down on it, it's just going to make one connection. That's all it is. So right now it's off, it's open, and if I press down on it, it's closed, it's on. So off and on. Okay, and for this particular type of switch, I have to be pressing it in order for it to stay on. If I let go, then it automatically shuts off. Now, these switches are designed to be used on a breadboard, so you'll see 4 connections. All right, but the way that they are connected, each pair is connected to each other when you push the switch. When I push the switch, this wire is connected to this wire. Same goes for the other side. When I push the switch, this wire is connected to this wire. These wires are not connected to each other in a switch fashion across from each other. So when I put this on the breadboard, okay, it straddles the middle of the breadboard. And you see how I've put one of the pins on row 15 with my other wire. What's going to happen is when I press the switch, electricity is going to go from row 15 down to row 17. Very common mistake that students make the first time they're using a breadboard is thinking that the electricity is going to go from one side of the breadboard to the other. So I'll see a lot of students, for example, say take an LED and they'll connect it to the other side of the breadboard on row 15 and then they'll connect that to ground. But the problem is that's not how the switch behaves. The switch doesn't allow electricity to pass through in a switch fashion, turning it on and off from one side of the breadboard to the other. Instead, what needs to happen is you need to connect the LED to row 17. Okay, and then I'll put the short end on a different row. So maybe row 18. The last step is then to just take, remember this is an LED, and an LED always needs a resistor, so I have a small resistor here. Okay, it's just a 330 ohm resistor, and I can connect that right to ground, just like that. Now, if I plug in my power supply, so negative to negative, positive to positive, I shouldn't see it light up, and I don't. But if I press the switch, now it works. Okay. The other thing that I want to just mention is if you ever do need to get power to the other side of a breadboard, for example, sometimes it may be beneficial to wire going from source all the way over to ground on the other side. Say, like this. One way to make sure that that gets accomplished easily is to connect both of the positive terminals to each other, like this, and to connect both of the negative terminals to each other, like this. That way you know, no matter what side you plug in your positive and negative, both sides are supplied with power. So connecting it like I did Now if I plug it into this side, even though they're both plugged into here, I still have ground over here as well, so it still works. Okay, and that's how you use a switch.